Yeah, so thanks a lot everyone for joining. We are very, very excited and happy to see you. And I think it's one of our most popular webinars so far. So it shows how excited you are also to learn about AI and one-page CRM. So in the scope of this webinar, it will be like a quick demo about how we can work with AI and one-page CRM. It will be very practical, but at the very start, I just have a few slides just to ease in into today's demo. So first of all, depending on how familiar you are with AI tools, you might have heard the term MCP. So in simple language, MCP is just stands for Model Context Protocol. It's just a bridge, a connection between your CRM, for example, one-page CRM, or your other tools and AI. And you can connect it to Claude, ChatGPT, or any other AI assistant that you use. So in the scope of this demo, we will look into 4 different tasks. So we will ask AI to do 4 different things for us. The first one will be, we will ask AI to deal with our overdue actions. We will ask also to look through our web form submissions and see how AI can help us sort them out. We will build a simple report, and we will also look into how we can connect one-page CRM to other tools via AI and bring all of the information into one-page CRM as the single source of truth. Throughout the webinar, you are very welcome to leave your questions in the Q&A section. So if you hover over the bottom part of your Zoom settings, you will see that there is a chat button and a Q&A button. So please leave your questions there. And Julia, who is on support, and you've been chatting to her at the very start, she will gladly answer all of your questions. And at the end of the demo, if there are any unanswered questions, we will just go through them. So please make sure to leave them there. So that's it for the introduction, and let's begin the demo. Here is my one-page CRM account. I just want to share it with you. So let me just introduce you a little bit to what I have here. So for some of you, it might look a little bit unfamiliar because I use the dark mode. The dark mode can be enabled here. Since my laptop is in dark mode, one-page CRM automatically takes this theme settings. And one of the first things that you might notice, I have a lot of overdue actions. This one-page CRM account is my account, and it's set for a fictional marketing agency. So all of this data here is fictional, and it is set just for the purpose of this demo. Here you can see that I have how many? See, so I have 10 overdue actions, and it would be great if Claude can help me sort through them. So right now I'll be using in this presentation Claude, but you can replicate the same stuff and the same tasks in ChatGPT if it's your preferred AI tool. So in Claude, you will find here a tab that's called Scheduled. So if I go to the Scheduled tab, you can see that these are scheduled tasks that you can set for Claude. And they give you here a few examples, but we don't need them because we already know what we want Claude to do. We want Claude to help us with overdue actions, right? So here I'll just click on New Task. I'll set it up manually. I'll name it because we know that it will be about overdue actions. And I already have my prompt saved, so I'll just copy paste it here. Here I'll just choose, I'll allow Claude to automatically approve different operations because it's a very simple task. It doesn't need my input. And just for the sake of this demo, I'll set it to run frequently. So I'll set it to run every week at 9 a.m. on Monday. And now I'll just save this task. So now this scheduled task appears here. You can see that it will run every Monday at 9 a.m. But let's see how it works right now so we can actually launch it straight away and see how Claude will be getting through the actions. In this prompt, you can see that I let Claude know that if the number of contacts with overdue actions exceed 5, and right now I have 10, I ask Claude to reschedule, and I ask it to set no more than 2 actions per day starting from today. Please keep in mind that this is just a demo, so in reality you might need to provide a little bit more information. Maybe, for example, if you look at my action stream here, I have a few contacts with deals, so maybe in your prompt you'd like to specify and mention to Claude that please treat contacts with deals as of a higher priority. Also, overdue actions are just one of the examples that you can use. Feel free also to experiment with other scheduled tasks and see how it goes. So right now, Claude just mentioned to me that it updated all of the contacts. So if I go to the action stream and I hit the refresh button, you can see that it did exactly this. So my action stream looks very tidy and there are no more overdue actions. And this task will run every Monday at 9 a.m. But then again, like I can also set it as manual one, so I can trigger it manually, or I can also choose to set it daily, depending on how you want to manage your workload. So this is the first example that we wanted to show you. Now let's go to the second example. Here, I'd like to add another prompt that I have. So let Claude read for now, and I'll explain what I'm doing. So my OnePageCRM account is set as a marketing agency. And as a marketing agency or a consultancy, you often have inquiry forms. In OnePageCRM, you can build a free web form where you can embed it to your website or publish a link to your leads. And since this web form is publicly available, leads just come over to my website, they fill out the details, they choose the services that they're interested in, their budget, and then they submit the web form. These submissions, they all end up in my OnePageCRM account. So you can see I already have here 5 new submissions, and a few of them have already been qualified and some of them have been disqualified. For those of you who have web forms or have used them regularly, you probably know that not all submissions are great or good. So sometimes you receive spam submissions from bots, etc. So for example, one of them here, you can see that it's just like a random string of text. In this case, it's like instead of using my time to go through the submissions manually, I've just asked Claude to look at my new web form submissions as per the lead source. So they are all in my OnePageCRM account. They are all marked as web form submission and they are all stored here. So Claude has opened my OnePageCRM account, looked into my OnePageCRM account and found this web form submissions. The new ones, they have status new, and using the data recorded in the CRM, I asked Claude to mark each new submission as qualified or disqualified, depending on what data it has. So it reviewed 5 web form submissions, and it decided that only 2 of them are qualified and the other ones are disqualified. And it also added reasons. So right now, for example, if I go to my OnePageCRM account, I refresh it, and go to web form submissions, you can see I no longer have any new submissions. All of them have been already sorted by Claude. And if, for example, I open the first one, Fiona, and she's disqualified, we can see that the reason for this is just not a fit. So it means that Claude just read through this and decided like that what this person was asking for is not relevant for my marketing agency. So this is another example of how AI can help you sort through admin stuff and focus on more high quality, high value work. So for example, when you want to talk to customers, build relationships, instead of spending time just sorting through the data. That was the second example that we wanted to show you. Another example that you can do with Claude is just build different reports. So here we will ask Claude to build an interactive report on the quality of all of my web form submissions in OnePageCRM. In reality, you can build loads of different reports. So depending on how rich and comprehensive the data is in your CRM account, you can look into the deals, you can compare pipeline performances, you can compare it across regions, and etc. For the simplicity of this demo, we're just looking into the web form submissions because we've already been talking about them, and you already have seen the information that I have in my OnePageCRM account. So it's taking Claude a little bit of time just to go through this and build a report, because I asked specifically for an interactive report because I just want to show you how Claude works with this. So here it identified that I have in total like 30 submissions. 9 of them are qualified, 29 are disqualified. So the qualification rate is around 30%, right? And then it gave me also reasons for why the majority of contacts are disqualified. It can also give me a little bit of more information about qualified leads. So as you can see, this prompt was very simple. So depending on how much information you add to Claude or to ChatGPT or any other AI tool, you can get a much more comprehensive report. So this was one of the last examples that we wanted to show you, how you can build different reports. And you can also, like one of the things that here I mentioned, I asked Claude specifically to build this report in the chat, but you can also ask for an HTML file. An HTML file, you can share it with your stakeholders, you can send it to your team members, to your manager, depending on for what reasons you need the report. And now let's go to the last example for today. I just want to show you how Claude can work with, and your AI can work with loads of different tools. So what happened earlier this week on July 20th, I had a call with my prospect, Julia Albus. I already have her contact in my OnePageCRM account, and this call was recorded on Zoom. So we had this call, and my Claude is connected to different tools. So here, if I go to connectors, you can see that there are quite a few different tools that I've connected to, including OnePageCRM and Zoom. So it means that Claude can get access to my Zoom data and grab it from there. So here I ask Claude to just look at this call, get the transcript, summarize it, and send me the action items here. So here is just the summary of what Claude is doing, and then it got the transcript, and then it created the short synopsis based on what happened during this conversation and what we talked about. There are also a few action items here. So the easiest solution would be just to send them all to OnePageCRM. But in reality, if there are some admin tasks, you can ask Claude to sort them out for you, so you don't need to waste time on them. So for example, here I'll just ask Claude to do the following. Instead of going through these actions myself, I'll just ask Claude to add a deal to Julia's contact page, because we've already, as you can see, we've discussed with Julia something about what she has in mind as my prospect. So this deal will be added to OnePageCRM account. And I also asked to add the Zoom call summary as a note to OnePageCRM. It means that in the future, each time I talk to Julia, I don't need to worry about going to Zoom, to my Google Calendar, to my Gmail account, etc. Everything will be in OnePageCRM. And then based on all of this information, I also asked to draft a very short email to Julia, including my Calendly link. And since I'm also connected to my Calendly here, Claude can get the Calendly link that is associated with my account. OnePageCRM also is going to have a native integration with Calendly soon, so just keep an eye on this. So yeah, here you can see that it's created everything, and then it created this quick email. So I can just click on copy the email, and then now if I go to my OnePageCRM account, let me search for Julia. I can see Julia here, and I can see the deal that was created just a moment ago. So if I click on show more details, it was created by Claude. Here is the summary of the deal, this deal stage, and here is the detailed note that I have based on the call transcript. And I can send an email to Julia. So let me just copy paste, and then that's it. So now it's just sent, and this is done. I can just check if no reply on Monday, enter. And now Julia has an action, and all of the manual work was done by my AI assistant. So during this demo, we just wanted to show you how you can easily use AI and turn it into your CRM assistant instead of dealing with manual data work. And in the scope of just a few minutes, we went through several use cases, and just make sure that you also give it a try, because the OnePageCRM MCP is available on all plans and also on the trial accounts. So we are now very much looking forward to your questions and use cases. So let us know if you have anything to share.